Hey there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to our TGIF Talks, episode 176. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by our guest today, Rondo.
Hello.
Yes, he's returned. All right, let's roll the intro here. I can never remember. Can you hear my Can you hear this?
No.
He's too dangerous to be left alive.
You didn't hear the "he's too dangerous to be left alive"?
Nope.
Most worthless stream deck ever. Doesn't work. No one in any chat can ever hear you, but because no software ever can take more than one audio input ever. So
Yeah, I heard it back when we were in the house together. I would hear them, but ever since we did our online stuff, I have not.
yeah, who knows? Well, anyways, did you? So I guess the big thing I checked my mail today. It is only postmarked to the 27th, so it didn't sit in my mailbox that long. Actually, it really couldn't sat in my mailbox too much longer than it did. But I got my invitation to Rooster's wedding.
Oh, nice.
When did you get yours?
I think instead of sending it to us, they gave it to us one of the times. Actually, I think we did get it in the mail. I was gonna say one of the times I thought we just. Yeah, I think it was in the. Actually, I think we just got ours recently too.
I was
Maybe 3 weeks ago.
3
2 weeks ago, maybe 2-3 weeks.
Oh, so I must
Maybe
have
it was
done
last week. I don't know. Who knows?
I would assume it'd be last week. I mean, wouldn't you send everything out at the same time?
I would assume so, unless maybe you are going day by day and send out however many you get done every day, unless you just power through all of them at one day.
Okay. Well, I will say they're an interesting wedding invitation review here.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're doing here. No, it's really nice. Obviously, I think more people put emphasis into the save the date things than they do the actual. I hope I'm not shouting because I have headphones and I haven't done a podcast with headphones on in forever.
Doesn't seem too loud.
Okay. Oh, I'm talking for the viewers. 'Cause I'm shouting.
No one cares about the viewers.
No. So, well, I mean, I was so confused when I got it because it's this nice envelope that says, "Please deliver to," and then it has my name and address.
Yeah.
And there's no return address, at least on the side with my address on it. And so I'm like, what the heck is this? Then I flip it over, and it's got not Rooster's parents, but her parents. We don't have a code name for her on here, so sorry. It's got her parents' names and address on here, and I was just like, okay, I recognize the last name, but that doesn't answer the question. And then I opened it and went, oh, right.
And it started ringing some bells for you.
Then it was like, oh, duh. I mean, I figured it was. I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Please join us. All right, the details. Following the ceremony, please join us in celebrating. A couple cocktail hour will begin at 4:30. Oh, so wait, is the ceremony at 4?
I'd have to check. I haven't really looked at it since it first came in.
I think so, because it says Saturday at 4. Doesn't really matter. I'm not driving. Which is weird. I don't drink yet. I'm not even driving myself, so, woohoo. I'm riding AK and Eminem.
Very nice.
So. Oh, yeah.
Good carpool group.
They asked. What she asked. That was like a long time ago.
Should work out good. I was tad worried all the tornadoes might just run right into the venue, but
Oh, is this? Where is? I see the location in Iowa, but this doesn't exactly tell me. Oh, welcome to Search Labs. I don't know what that is. Okay, go away. It doesn't tell me in relation to 0 where in the world that is. Boo boo boo. Trenor. Oh. Oh, this isn't that far at all. I thought it for some reason I thought they were having it close to Ames.
no.
What? Why'd they pick this spot? Do we know?
I think it was.
Just a
I
nice.
think it was just a venue that they liked.
Okay. I got nothing wrong with it being Iowa. I thought it was gonna be far away. Oh. Well, I didn't need to take work off then. Oh well, at least I can probably mow that morning. Unless AKM and M want to get there earlier and rub elbows with people. But I guess you're not in the wedding, but Badass Bitch is. Yes, that is her code name. She still hasn't said, yep.
I'm in it.
Oh, you are? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You an usher or
Yeah.
groomsman?
Groomsman.
Groomsman. So you got a whole host of crap to do ahead of time.
Yep. I've already twiddled off some of it. What?
You've already put some of it off?
No, I already took care of some of it.
Oh, like what? What responsibilities were you?
Oh, the main thing I've just had to do right now is go get fitted. So I got that all taken care of and done.
Oh yeah, so do you have to cover the cost of that yourself?
Yeah. So, funny thing is actually the tornado was almost right next to where we got the suit fitted from. So, the one in Omaha.
Oh,
That would have been bad if that would have been destroyed.
that would have been. That wouldn't have been good.
No.
Their Casey. Oh my God! I hope this gas price is. This is April of last year, but good Lord, that was how expensive gas was back then. Their Casey's is the old style of Casey's.
They're Casey's. What do you mean?
In the town where the venue is.
Ah, gotcha.
Their Casey, you know how on the side of the Casey's they had that weird pattern. It looked like faux leather, but giant red.
Yeah, with I get the old lettering. I get what you mean. Instead of the white one now.
Well, no, now it's just a plain red, but how back in the day it used to be it was red but with black lines. It's not the lettering. The lettering, as far as I can tell, is the same. It's. Do I have
The outline.
Here, I'll send you a photo on Snapchat. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Where are you? Why can't I find you? There you go. I learned a new thing while you're looking at that. I learned a new thing today about Snapchat. So they updated Snapchat, and it was irritating me because
I see your little brick outline thing you're talking about.
yeah, it looks like faux leather. Look, it reminds me of when I was a kid riding in a school bus, and the seats, had it was basically just, well, I guess you probably didn't ride a school bus like I did. Well, the seats were leather, or quote unquote leather. Quote unquote leather, and they had like those like you could see like the veiny pattern throughout it. That's what it always reminded me of. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And honest to God, I'm kind of glad they got rid of it. It looks ugly. All right, let's look at this event center. I kind of want to see this. Oh, it's an actual event center. Who? This is interesting. Google. Oh, wow. They have winter photos. I didn't think they did this, but they have winter satellite photos for this part of Iowa. So there's little bits
It's kind of interesting
What?
that they'd have winter.
Yeah, there's little bits of snow everywhere. I mean, I guess it could be spring, but... Oh, okay. I know a kind of place like this. There's people are building all kinds of these places. Basically, they build a barn, right? And this looks like they renovated a barn. Or they also renovated some... Well, they didn't renovate. Those are brand new. Oh, those don't show up on Google Maps. Well, how old is this Maps info? Not that old. 2024. Those must be really new then. Unless... Wait a minute. Freaking Iowa and their damn hills. No, yeah, those are new. They have grain bins. They took some grain bins and they turned them into, looks like, I would assume they're like a hotel of some sort or a B&B for the wedding parties. So they can just stay there for the night instead of having to drive to God knows where.
Yes, we just actually went to a wedding like that in North Dakota.
With grain bins that you slept in?
We didn't actually sleep in them, but same premise where they had that, and then it was like a barn where the wedding was, like, the venue was hosted at for the
it's so
dinner.
I like these barns because my cousin got married in one and I was MC. It's hopefully the sound system is better. The sound system at this place was atrocious. I could have screamed, it would have been louder. We constantly were like causing the thing to trip because we had to have it maxed out on volume, and so like it like so like when you go to play, so like yeah, and like none of us knew how to work it, so I'm just like, okay, great. Or no, we would max it out and then it would peak,
Mm-hmm.
and you get all that distortion, and it was like, oh boy. So hopefully they've invested in their sound system a lot better.
Hopefully.
I'm sure it'll be great. Well, that's the thing. Like, you just don't know until you're there. And the room's full of people, and people are talking, and you're trying to talk over them, right? You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like one of those things. Like, how could they have known?
Yeah, you don't really know until you're there.
And, like, whoever leaves... And, like, what bride and groom ever leave reviews of a venue, after they're done. It's not a thing. But anyways, hopefully it'll be a nice, cool July stay.
Yeah, hopefully it's just nice 70s, 80s day.
Yeah. We can only dream.
We can.
But I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. Wait, are these the... No, those are a different location. Good Lord, there's so many damn grain bins around here. And these satellite images, they're not even that old. How is it... They built these grain bins in the last year? Huh. Although, truth be told, this thing looks like it kind of looks like this event center didn't exist last year. Like, they built it in the last year.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, so this map data says 2000... Well, this is 2024. I find that hard to believe. When was the Street View data taken? 2023. April of 2023. That map date is a lot older than they claim it to be. I really do like the one thing about converting a grain bin to a B&B. We're going to talk weddings today, kids. Sorry. The one thing about converting a grain bin to a B&B slash hotel. Now, I guess maybe it's fine with people just, staying there once every... I guess there's honestly, I talked to some of these places. You ever been to a wedding during the week?
I've not been to one during the week, I don't believe.
Neither.
Unless it was maybe a Friday wedding, but...
Yeah, maybe. At the most, a Friday wedding.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a normal thing.
Really?
Like, I was talking, was at this wedding venue. I'm talking to the owners. And he's like, yeah, we do weddings all the time. Now, it had just been May the 4th, so... Obviously, having a wedding on May the 4th during the week, that's whatever, nerds are nerds. You're not going to get married on May the 4th, are you?
No.
Because it looks like it's going to be, unless you wait a while, it's going to be a Sunday next year.
Ew.
A Sunday wedding sounds awful.
Yeah.
But anyways, no. So, the guy said, yeah, people have weddings all the time during the week. And I'm like, excuse me? Really? Commenters.
Yeah.
Is this true? Is this a thing? There's nobody comments on this, but if anybody does. Is that a real thing? I was like, what? Can you imagine just yeah, let's go get drunk on a frickin' Tuesday night and then go to work the next day?
Some people can do it.
I mean, cheap venues, I guess. So, the venues should be cheap, I would assume.
Yeah.
But, what do I know? Well, anyways, so that's that. That's very exciting. Do you know, are they waiting to go on their honeymoon, or do they have a vacation planned? I haven't talked to Rooster and...
Pretty sure he had to schedule it alongside his school where he has one, but I forget exactly when it is. It has to line up when he can take off for it.
That's what I figured. And then I saw AK got his white coat.
Yeah, on the same day as the tornado, so good thing that went swell.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was the same day. I didn't look at the timestamps. The whole tornado thing. Those days are all foggy now. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember.
Feels like it was a lot longer ago, but it was just last week.
Well, I don't remember what day it was anymore. I remember it was
Friday.
Thursday. It was Friday.
Yeah.
Oh well, I haven't been getting enough sleep, so that's probably why. Anyways, I got 6 hours last night. That's why I laid down on the couch to watch one episode of Archer, and the next thing I know, I'm dazing off the dreamy land. But so, well, how are you? How is the research coming along? How close are you to being done?
It's going good. I'll probably this summer we'll hopefully finish up 95% of the lab work. And then we'll have data stuff we have to get into. And then, yeah, that'll be that. Then I'll probably finish up, I'll finish up next spring with the project.
Okay. So then, what's the game plan after next spring?
After that, I can either go for a doctorate degree, get a job at a state or federal level for a wildlife biologist.
So what would you, what does the day-to-day operations of a wildlife biologist look like?
I think it depends really what what state or federal job you're in. Because, they say wildlife biologist, but you can be or state wildlife biologist, but you can be big game specialist, you can be a bird specialist, a fur bearer specialist. There's a bunch of different ones, so kind of just depends. And then they can have more regular ones where you're doing more field work. So kind of just depends with each job. So
Right. Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to go state? Do you want to go fed and like move someplace to like work at a national park?
um, I don't know. Probably want I want to work with big game animals, but beyond that, I don't really know yet.
Well, there's no big game in Nebraska.
You got there's some elk and deer count too, but yeah, it's definitely less options. That's for sure.
Right. So probably not moving back home.
Never say never, but it'll definitely have to be a good position, I think.
I'll have to hopefully not move too far. Otherwise, 8 hours is already that's a fun drive, but I wouldn't push it past 12 for me to come visit.
Yeah, no, the plan is I'll pick somewhere within the current trip time frame where it's no longer than 8 hours. 'Cause I think a day journey is nice
Although
max distance.
I will say, you move to someplace up in like Colorado, up in Estes Park. God, I will pay more visits more often. I like it
Yeah,
up there.
yeah, if I get a job in one of those states, I'll definitely probably need a pretty nice pay increase for
True.
price of living out there.
True, true, true. I'll come move. I'll be another roommate. I'd love it up there. And
Hey,
there's also
pay
jobs
the
galore.
bills, right?
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
I applied for a job up in Denver. Didn't get it.
When was this?
Oh, month ago.
Month ago? Just a teller job or?
No, it was in their loans, and I think what was a credit analyst, and the other one was a loan assistant. But I had no hopes of it actually working because they were two. They're like you go from one to two, so they were both two positions, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna. That's like skipping like two steps to get to that position. So
Yeah.
like the one position I'd literally be managing people, and it's like I've never managed people before in my life. There's no way they would hire me to manage people.
Right.
So I don't know. Although I said that about Menards, and I'm like, no way they'd hire me to sell doors. And they're like, so you're in sales. I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, that's sometimes just how it works out.
I still had no idea. I literally I don't even remember what I applied for when I applied for that job. I just applied for a job, and then they're like, great, you're hired. And I'm like, what? And they're like, so, we'll go show you your department, and you'll be selling doors and windows. What do you know about doors and windows? I'm like, absolutely nothing. And now I know more than any. Now I know more than most people ever will. I've forgotten a lot of it.
Hey, well, you can always have it on your resume though.
Well, yeah, that was the weird thing. I was like working on my resume to like show there, and one of the things is never mind. One of the big things is so like I worked at the co-op for like 5 weeks, right? And
Yeah.
so it's this debate, right? Do you put that on there? Like you show your last employer and your current employer, but it's like my last employer, I was only there for 5 weeks. Is that even worth? But you don't want to just put a gap on there, of course. It's not a
Yeah.
problem unless the gap is not a problem unless they just don't decide to go to the interview stage, right?
hmm
Because if they decide to go to the interview stage, the gap is not an issue. They just ask you, "Hey, what's this gap?" And you say, "Oh, I worked at a job for 5 weeks, wasn't the fit, blah 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 blah." Never done that before in my life. Don't really want to do that again. Where I only work a job for 5 weeks.
hmm
And you explain yourself, and whatever, you move on. But when it's just on so it's like, but the gap in the resume is like. Although I will say the resume makes it look a lot better than it actually is, because I don't think I have specific dates of when I stopped working at either of those places, to my knowledge. Well, maybe I do have specific dates. I know it's down to the month and year. So at the worst, it looks like it's a 1 month gap. Not even a month. It might not even show a gap. But I'm pretty sure it comes down to the day. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure CV you have everything. Resume you can like trim it to be whatever you deem is necessary.
not that it matters anyways. I don't even know what the point of filling out an actual resume is. Every time you go to apply for a job, half the job is just like the resume uploader doesn't work, and so when you upload your resume, it doesn't understand it, and so you have to manually enter everything in by hand anyways, and you're like, this is dumb.
Yeah, a lot of them use AI now, so it just boots you right away if your like verbiage doesn't match up.
Great. Even worse to get a job now.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it is definitely tricky with the AI.
Wonder how Epac's doing. He's been looking for a job. He's gonna end up like me, working a job not meant for his degree.
Who has been?
Outback.
Ah,
Both gonna end up with crap. Both end up with craptastic jobs. You lucky guys that are still in school. You, Randy, Rooster, AK, you're all still in school.
oh, the youth. I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick.
All right, we'll take a break here.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, good. Okay, so I guess back to the. I don't know how we got into resumes, but back to. Oh, I know how. Okay. But back to where you want to do what you want to do. What does badass bitch want to do? What does she want to do?
She kind of probably wants to work at a university, and either continue with some sort of marketing, and maybe do teaching on the side.
What kind of teaching? Like teaching marketing classes or
Marketing and communication.
okay, like university level teaching or like high school?
University level, but she'd be open to do like community college, if that makes sense.
Okay, okay. I mean, you guys are always every time I ask, it feels like I'm always getting something new, something different.
For her,
Well, maybe both of you.
oh, tough to say. Probably should have a like a running list for every person where they have what they want, and then they can see how it changes throughout the years.
Yeah, I should. Mine hasn't. Well, define changed, but mine hasn't changed. If we asked Rooster, he's still working to where he wants what he wants to do.
Yeah,
Equine specialist.
definitely think he switched. I don't think he originally wanted to be with horses as much until he went to Haggard.
What did he? What? Because what was our? Because we wanted the joke was you guys wanted to do a clinic
Clinic.
where everybody did. So you would have done wildlife, and then was he small animal? Is that what it was? Because then AK was going to be large animal.
Um, I forget exactly. I feel like would have wanted to do some like mixed maybe
Okay, I know because that's why I
or
was like,
rooster.
it doesn't matter. I have to edit something else out anyways because the stupid letter I flashed up. I didn't even realize I flashed it up. I was really watching it. Thank God for the massive delay in my editing software today because I literally watched it just flash up and went, "Oh, I did that,
Yeah.
huh? Okay, whatever." But what? So where was I going? Right. So no, I swear everybody wanted. Well, what does AK want to do these days? I don't talk to the man enough. I don't talk to anybody enough.
Pretty sure he wants to do a clinic. Yeah, I don't know if he wants to like own his own or
Is he still going to go with livestock, or does he want to do?
I think it'd be mixed, but I have not confirmed with him.
Okay, mixed. God, I know a lot of vets like that.
Yeah. So it's probably good for Nebraska to have a mixed if you're especially in the country.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be coming back.
Yeah.
Think Rooster's gonna come back?
I don't know. Depends how deep he dives into the equine realm.
Moves out to Kentucky? Oh, Lord. It's
I
gonna
don't
be
know if
even
he
more.
can make it that far, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, where else would you go to train horses?
I mean, he might want to go to Kentucky, but he's got two now, so
To what?
like he it's more than just him, so he has to convince others now.
Oh, yeah, it's more. He's got. Well, this only has one other person to convince.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Ugh.
But think about how much money they can make if he was working in the races.
But it's Kentucky.
And think about how much fun we could have him letting us into the Derby.
Shh. I don't think that's how it works.
What do you mean? We go in, we're buddy buddy with the vet, right? So, the vet's, he has to be working. But before and after the races, we can be drunk off our butts. Not that I would, but it's just, painting a picture here.
Uh-huh.
Gambling and watching horse races.
Is that right?
Yeah. What else would you do? I'm sure all the girls would want to go and do sightseeing in Kentucky, but honest to God, I've been to Kentucky. There's no sights to see. So,
That's fair. Fair statement.
same with Indiana. They're the bumhole map of the United States. So, that and
I got a
Ohio.
fun little question we can do to kind of wrap this one up if you want.
Sure.
So I had my final for my seminar class today, and the question that was presented that we had to debate on was are trophic cascades generalizable? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Or what?
Trophic cascades.
Trophic Cascades.
That's so it's like if you ever heard of Yellowstone and the wolves, where the wolves shaped the plant ecology of Yellowstone because they hunted the elk after they were reintroduced.
Yeah, I remember the thing. Yeah.
So it's pretty much asking if that would be applicable to about any system for the most part, is the question. Yes or no?
Okay, so I'm on the wiki here. So, trophic cascades are powerful indirect interactions that can control entire ecosystems, occurring when a trophic level,
Trophic?
trophic, gosh darn the English, trophic level in a food web is suppressed. For example, a top-down cascade will occur if predators are effective enough in predation to reduce the abundance or alter the behavior of their prey, thereby releasing the next lower trophic level from predation, or herbivore if the immediate trophic level is a herbivore. Releasing the next lower trophic level from predation. What does it mean by releasing it? Like they're no longer. Trophic cascades and ecological concept that was stimulating the new research in many areas of ecology. For example, it can be more understanding the knock-on effects of removing top predators from food webs, as humans have done in many places through hunting and fishing. Okay. This is a whole thing. So, is the question that we should put...
The question is just if you think they are generalizable.
Oh, like, if it worked here, we can do it here too?
In theory, it's pretty much asking, in theory, should this work? Should there be a trophic cascade in every system? For the most part. Obviously, you're gonna have an outlier here or there, but generally speaking, would you say majority have it?
Well, didn't they realize that the wolf, when they reintroduced wolves, didn't that fuck up a lot of shit too?
Um, yes, it did, but it's more asking if there is, not necessarily if like it's not really looking at the reintroduction. It's just looking at the relationship, the trophic cascade occurring. Because there's examples of it occurring without reintroduction of a species. Like sea otters is a good one. That was
Well, what's happening
looking
with
at
sea
how
otters?
it was like if you look it up, sea otters impacting kelp forests had a big impact on oysters, I think, too, because if the it was sea otters eating the oysters, I think that affected the sea kelp forests. Because if there's more sea otters, then they eat more oysters, which causes the kelp forest to grow big because there's less oysters. But if there's no sea otters, then the oysters become more abundant, and then there's less kelp forests, I believe, off the top of my head. Don't quote me on it, but so basically, it's just saying, could you find this in most systems? And yeah, so that was the discussion about if trophic cascades are generalizable or not across any ecosystem.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how we got into the situation that we're in with a lot of these cases. Is when you generalize something and then realize, oh wait, we shouldn't have generalized that. Like for example, like aren't we losing millions or billions of dollars in damages from the wolves to
So it's
livestock?
like it's not if we should add new species to stuff. It's just like because it can occur without us adding species. It's just asking, do systems like if they're already there and you removed a predator, for example, would there be a trophic cascade in any system?
Oh,
Or does it just depend? Like, say if you did Africa, for example, and you're looking at plant biomass, if it changes with the removal of a predator, would that be applicable even if there's like multiple predator systems and multiple prey systems that impact plants, or no?
it's an interesting question because it kind of brings up the whole thing with mosquitoes because a lot of people are doing research and like, yeah, we could wipe out the all the disease carrying mosquitoes, and theoretically the ecosystems wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah,
Theoretically, that's the theory,
theoretically.
because I think because the ones that carry diseases don't actually make up a significant portion of the ecosystem. So like for example, the big thing was like, oh, what do the birds eat? Well, the birds don't eat the mosquitoes that bother humans. They eat the other mosquitoes.
Yeah,
There's a lot more of those than there are the ones that affect humans. Theoretically, but like you just
yeah,
don't know, right? You can't possibly know all the possible ramifications. You know, this is when it comes to a complex situation with lots of variables, that was something economics showed. So I got to study. It was a undergraduate level, but you got to look at, okay, here's a system, identify all the variables, and then try and come up with a mathematical model to represent the entire system. And then you're like, well,
hmm
I'm just gonna have to assume because like
yeah,
there's like the velocity of money. You can't possibly measure the velocity of money in a system. And if you do say find a way to measure the velocity of money, that measurement is not accurate. Which it
hmm
almost kind of reminds me of like quantum mechanics or Schrodinger's cat, where it's like you can't possibly know the velocity and moment, the
yeah.
position and velocity of a particle, because once you measure it, you change it. I don't know. I mean, measuring the velocity of money doesn't necessarily change it. Actually, it doesn't. It physically can't. But you know that if you do measure it, it's wrong, which was fun. That was a dumb day. I was like, well, that's the whole point of this thing. Who came up with this? Some economist in
So your
1960.
answer is that it is not generalizable.
I don't think it could be. What was your answer?
So we didn't really get a pick side, so I was put on the not generalizable side. There's arguments for both, really. So
I don't see how you could generalize it. I think if you generalize it, you're taking a big risk. And just assuming, let's say that, yeah, in every ecosystem, if you take out the top predator, such and such bad things will happen. That just can't. Oh, hello, Roxy.
Yeah, she's a heifer.
So,
But yeah, that's the side I was on.
yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
such a.
there's papers pointing to both sides being correct or wrong, so it's really, I think it's one of those on you where it's really down to semantics on what you deem as a significant impact numbers wise, and what you deem as generalizable, to be
Such
honest.
an interesting question, though, because it kind of makes me think back to early humanity, right? I feel
Yeah.
like so humans were the apex predator, still are the apex predator in any ecosystem, period, except for like
Yeah.
maybe in the ocean, but like until now, anyways. Until now, until like modernization, we were not the apex predator in the ocean. But now we are. We are
Yeah.
the apex predator. So my question was thinking. So we think back to the Ice Age when we were still in tribes and pre-industrial revolution. There was a balance. Well, we think there was a balance, except for the fact that we hunted mastodons to extinction. So there's that. But also there was a change in climate. So you almost wonder if us hunting mastodons to their extinction, we managed to actually somehow remove ourselves from an ecosystem without collapsing the ecosystem. Right? Because think about it, right? So the ecosystem for thousands of years was adapted to having humans being the top predator and mastodons being the top herbivore, right? And basically humans would hunt mastodons and the saber-tooths would hunt the mastodons, and so on and so forth. Well, when we hunted the mammoths to extinction, that's about the same time that agriculture was being formed in Mesopotamia. Because I will say, mastodons were still a thing when the pyramids were being built, if I'm not mistaken.
Were they?
I believe so. When the extinction of mammoths.
I think mammoths were 10,000 years ago.
Extinction of mammoths. 4,000 years ago.
4,000, really?
Yeah.
I swear it used to be 10.
They were
Ice
still
Age
in their
was 10.
heyday 20,000 years ago, but within 10,000 years, they were reduced to isolated populations off the coast of Siberia and Alaska. So the herds roaming the Americas were wiped out 10,000 years ago. But that's what I thought, yeah, which the pyramids were built like 4,000 years ago. 2700 BC, between 4,000 and 5,000 years ago.
I have some more fun questions from that class. Maybe I'll have to go through them next time with you.
Yes, of course. Of course. No, but that's an interesting thing. I don't think you should generalize trophic cascades. I don't know how I would argue on the side of, yes, you can generalize that. If I had been put on that side, I would have looked at the professor and been like, I cannot argue on this side. I normally can argue both sides, but I just don't see how you could generalize it, because every ecosystem is different. So back to the mastodon thing, right? So we removed our largest food source, right? But we replaced it with agriculture. We didn't need to do that, so we didn't need to hunt mastodons anymore. And so we also, but of course we saw though how our answer, we have the natives, the indigenous people of the Americas. They never developed ironworking, despite the fact that if we go 10,000 years ago, everybody was on the same page, all humanity. But then within those 10,000 years, one half of humanity industrialized, and the other half never did.
Fascinating, isn't it?
For what questions we don't know, for what end we don't know, but it's interesting to see that we managed. Maybe at the time there was some sort of trophic cascade, and it's just not recorded well in fossil records or in pictographs. We just don't. Just don't know if there was a trophic cascade when we killed off the mammoths and stopped consuming, the large predators and started just using and we stopped hunting as much. I'm sure there had to have been one, but I can't say we stopped hunting that much. I mean, I'm sure we wiped out wolves in areas, and so I'm sure the ecosystems probably couldn't adapt fast enough, because I'm sure by that point humanity was already moving at speeds that ecosystems couldn't adapt to. Mastering fire, taming animals, domesticating wolves.
Yeah, I'll have to ask you some more ecology questions next time for you to theorize about.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Sounds great to me.
All right. Well, folks, that is the end of this podcast. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcast every Friday, noon Central Time. And good night.